All right, hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. Wanted to bring you a live streaming update in anticipation of storms moving back in later this Saturday afternoon and evening. Now, some of those could be strong. A few isolated severe storms possible within the line of storms expected late this afternoon and evening. The main impacts and threats we're expecting as storms move in late today and this evening, some strong wind gusts and maybe some small hail. In addition to that, heavy rainfall. So we're going to walk through the particulars and let you know the timing and what you could expect for later today into this evening. Again, I hope you're having a great Saturday. By the way, as we take a look at what we're seeing right now, some pretty soaking rains are spreading up the valley. So these have been slow moving so far this morning, but wet weather is moving back in. So if you're outside right now, maybe you're at soccer games or ball practice at a market square, farmers market, or just out and about outside, and you're watching this live stream, hop over to look at our interactive radar as well, and I'm going to show you that right now. But we have rain moving up the valley. So anytime we have inclement weather and particularly active weather, always check back in right here on live streaming updates, and we'll keep you updated throughout the event. So let's talk about what we're seeing right now, and I'll go ahead and kind of illustrate what we're looking at. We've got this corridor of showers that's been making its way from Chattanooga up into the southern valley, coming off the plateau, and now some light to moderate rains are moving up, stretching from Oak Ridge down toward Lenore City, also Madisonville, Sweetwater, and continuing back toward Athens. So this is making its way up the valley. These are general showers, some moderate rainfall showing up in yellow, trying to work its way up to the region. Maybe a little bit of embedded thunder, but nothing too terribly organized or structured or strong with this batch of activity. Now, let me go ahead and show you what we're looking at as far as the latest satellite and radar again. So we've got one area of showers that we're going to talk about. This is going to be with us through about lunchtime. So this will probably be with us the next 2 hours between right now and about 1:30. So again, maybe next hour and a half to 2 hours, just past lunchtime into the very early afternoon, this batch will move through. Then we're going to have a little bit of a break as we go back to our west before we see ahead of the cold front that's now back in West Tennessee up into Kentucky. Ahead of this front, this is what we're looking at. Development of storms and showers started to take place back in West and Middle Tennessee, just ahead of this same cold front. So this is the feature that's going to be working its way eastward, and that's what's going to be arriving in East Tennessee between about 3 to 7 p.m., broadly speaking. One of our models is a little bit later than that. It's a little bit slower, so we'll have a chance for some of those, again, scattered showers and some thunderstorms increasing, particularly by late afternoon into the evening hours. So that's kind of the setup of what we're seeing. Now, again, in between the showers we're seeing right now for the next 2 hours through early afternoon through midday, we're going to have a little bit of a break between the showers. Here's our break right now. That may be with us a few hours, 2 or 3 hours or so, before we see storms moving in late afternoon, early evening. All right, so that's the setup. Now let's move forward and let's talk about our risk first of all, then I'll show you the futurecast timeline coming right up. Overall, the threat for severe storms is pretty low. It's not the same as what we saw yesterday, Friday afternoon and early evening. We know it's pretty active. We saw quite a few severe storms. So today's risk are, number one, it's lower. It's in a marginal risk, which is in green. This is a level 1 marginal risk, a low-end chance for some isolated strong to severe storms, broadly speaking, and it's just ahead of the cold front. So basically it's east of Nashville. It does include all of East Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia. Now a higher risk is going to be for late today and tonight for our neighbors to our east and up into the Virginias and the Carolinas. So that's a look at our severe risk. Again, the main impacts could have a few isolated damage and wind gusts, some stronger winds, and some small hail. Those are the two main impacts. As far as the severe storm potential, it looks like it's probably going to be below severe hail, small hail possible, maybe some 60-mile-per-hour damage and wind gusts possible, but it looks like that's going to be isolated, embedded within the storms. Otherwise, some strong winds and heavy rain are the two main impacts expected area-wide as we move in. But again, just a low-end chance for some isolated severe storms, but there is the possibility there. So that's the severe risk. Heavy rainfall, yeah, that's the other potential in addition to some strong wind gusts and maybe some hail. We're looking at heavy rainfall with some of these storms moving in. And notice that's broad-brushed area-wide, encompassing much of Middle Tennessee, all of East Tennessee up into Kentucky. So much of Kentucky and Tennessee surrounding areas. So back to our radar. Again, there are the storms back out to the west. west. Zooming on in, here's a look at some of those showers that continue to push up into our region. So I mentioned Oak Ridge, back toward Kingston in Roane County. You're seeing some heavier showers, 10 Mile and coming out of Ray and Meigs counties. Nauta, Sweetwater, some moderate heavy rain for you. And again, just some general soaking rain. So I mentioned Oak Ridge, Oliver Springs. You got a pretty good access to some soaking showers for you right now. Again, nothing too strong. Just wanted to show you that we have some soaking rains moving in. And again, this is going to impact outdoor activities in the next couple of hours. So some pretty good rains for the next couple of hours between at least 11:30 and 1:30 rolling on in. All right, let's move forward with our timeline now. So here we are coming up on noontime. Again, there's the soaking rain showers that we're looking at for us. And then we'll walk it forward. I'll kind of manually do this as we go from 1 to 2 p.m. There's a little bit more of our break. So once we get past about 1:30 or so, 2 p.m., a little bit of a break. Then once we go from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., there's our window, a little bit of a break into the early to mid-afternoon between the showers we're seeing now and will be, and before that next line arriving late afternoon. Now, this is 3 p.m. for the plateau, 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's when we're seeing some of those scattered storms arriving on the plateau. One of our other high-res models we use too, this is one of them. It's one of the other ones is slightly slower than this, so it may be a little bit delayed. But generally speaking, between about that 3 to 5 p.m., probably looking at some thunderstorms moving on to the plateau. So still kind of west of the valley at 4 p.m. Let's move forward now. I know it kind of sped up a little bit. Let me go hour by hour here. This is 5 p.m. Eastern. Still maybe just to our west, coming off the plateau into parts of the Western Valley. And then as we go 5 to 6 p.m., again, that line of thunderstorms will continue to make its way from Crossville toward Oak Ridge, up toward La Follette, Williamsburg, down towards Sweetwater and Athens. And then this one latest model. It shows at about 7 p.m., kind of between 6 and 7 p.m. So that's slightly delayed a little bit more. Our other model actually has it more closer to 6 to 8 p.m. So it may be more into the early evening hours when we see this potential line of storms. Now, when we stop it right here, I just wanted to illustrate this and show you. It looks like the greatest potential for a little bit more stronger storm activity. Again, overall the threat is low for severe in general. But if we see some severe storms, looks like it may be a little bit more focused southern half of our region. Perhaps in Monroe County, McMinn County, maybe Loudoun and Roane, but generally along and south of 40. That's what our high-res model is showing. A little bit concentrated, more concentrated storm activity there. Elsewhere, perhaps some general showers and storms, gusty winds, heavy rain, and that's what most of us will be seeing as we move in. Again, initially they could be having a punch with some higher wind gusts off the plateau into the western and central valley late afternoon, early evening, and then there'll be a little bit of a diminishing trend as we get into this evening. Now, this is all ahead of the cold front. As we go from 7 to 9 p.m., again, the storms kind of slowly weaken. They're making their way through the valley into the eastern half of East Tennessee between that 7 to 9 p.m. time frame. And then once we move past 9 to 10 p.m., most of those showers and storms have ended. And again, the strength of the storms will be lessening as we go through this evening. And then by midnight tonight, that front has already swept through. Then we're going to see cooler air settling in for the next couple of days and nights. So we're going to see some below average temperatures and somewhat cooler air moving in once that front moves through. And it's somewhat cooler today, even compared to the last couple of days. So there's the recap again. Let me kind of go back and I'll walk through that one more time. If you have outdoor plans late this afternoon and this evening, again, you could be impacted by the showers and storms, generally speaking, between about 4 to 7 p.m., rolling off the plateau into parts of the valley, making their way through 7 to 9 p.m. into the eastern half of the region, and then ending between 9 p.m. and midnight. That's your timeline for the expectation of showers and storms. Some of these can be strong on the initial line, late afternoon into the early to mid-evening, and then they're weakening for the rest of our evening, and then moving on out. So that's a check of what we're seeing as far as our futurecast timeline. Let me go ahead and show you a few more things, and then we'll wrap up this live streaming. Mike Simon's going to be in this afternoon. We'll give you more streaming updates, and we'll walk you through this event, both here streaming and, of course, on WBIR.com and, of course, on WBIR with the very latest information. That'll be coming forth with Mike Simon in the Weather Center later this afternoon and evening. All right, so here's a look at the big picture. You may just saw, let me go back and show you those cooler temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, highs will probably stay in the 60s for a Sunday. So here's the position of this cold front, and behind that frontal boundary, again, we're seeing some drier air eventually, but some cooler temperatures. By the way, There is an upper level low pressure system that is spinning, and that's located across, this is a surface map, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you the upper low is back here around St. Louis. And this is the feature that's just going to be spinning for the next 2 to 3 days. It'll eventually get kicked out Monday and Tuesday, but that's the feature, and I'll take that back off because this is a surface map, but it's that upper low that's going to be spinning and just kind of hanging around. When we talk about upper lows that are cut off from the main flow, they're slow movers. They keep things kind of unsettled. So occasional off and on showers and storms are what's expected from upper lows. But here's the surface map. There's a look at those thunderstorms in west and middle Tennessee, generally from Jackson now to Dixon and Nashville. Memphis seeing some showers, a few storms, but now starting to move on through their area. And there's a look at our line of showers that will pass through late morning, early afternoon. So here's how it all plays out regionally. There's our scattered showers and storms late this afternoon into this evening. A few of those could be on the strong side. Again, all of us will see some heavy rain, some gusty winds, impactful heavier showers and storms. So heads up on that late afternoon into this evening. And then as we mentioned, by late evening, they're weakening and moving out. See that spinning motion in the upper low? We're probably going to see some more spotty showers and maybe an isolated thunder shower too. Less coverage for your Sunday, but that upper low is going to spin some more spotty showers, maybe an isolated storm or two Sunday afternoon or early evening. Pretty predictable. And then we'll let this kind of play on out. There you see the rotating upper low. See how things just kind of spinning around. We'll probably have I've got a low end chance for some isolated showers as we get into your Monday and Tuesday as well. And that's what we're seeing as far as that potential over the next several days. And then finally, we're going to see things kind of improving a little bit more once we get later in the week. So with that, here's your 7-day forecast. Again, later this afternoon and evening, there's our chance. Once again, we're looking at those showers and scattered storms moving in by late afternoon into this evening, and then they'll taper off by late evening. 30% chance we'll probably see more of those spotty showers, maybe an isolated thunder shower, but less coverage, less chances overall Sunday. Token chance Monday. Monday will start to improve. Tuesday's looking good. Sunshine, low to mid 70s. Look at the temperatures though across the board, including Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're looking at temperatures staying below average in the low to mid 70s. And check out these overnight lows for Sunday night, Monday morning. And again, Monday night, Tuesday morning, got lows in the upper 40s. So it's going to be cooler than average over the next 7 days. And you also notice, as we just showed you, we've got those elevated chances, scattered showers possible once again as we go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That next system, there's a little bit more uncertainty, maybe not a washout, maybe not a whole lot of precipitation, but we do have chances Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for scattered thunder showers. All right, that does it for this live stream for now. Again, meteorologist Mike Simon back in this afternoon in just a bit to update you on the potential storms coming our way later today and this evening. Stay weather alert and keep the umbrella and rain gear handy, and we'll keep you updated right here on WBIR.com and Channel 10. Have a good rest of your Saturday.